Well, today marks a day we had hoped we would not see in America. More than 1,000 people have died from coronavirus across the U.S. And in Montana and Wyoming, those numbers also continue to rise. Here in Montana, as of this morning, 71 people have tested positive. That's a jump of 6 overnight. The Montana Response COVID-19 case map shows both Lincoln and Glacier counties are reporting their first cases. 2 more cases are confirmed in Cascade County, and Yellowstone and Lewis and Clark counties each add 1 more case. And in Wyoming, there are 53 total cases as of noon. Nearly 1,000 people have been tested in Wyoming. Fremont County has the most positive cases at 14. And all across the United States, almost 70,000 people have tested positive. 280 people have died in New York, and Washington State now reports 100 deaths. Well, as COVID-19 spreads, more states move into lockdown, 2 of those close to Montana, Colorado, and the most recent, Idaho. Minnesota is also under stay-at-home requirements. Well, the Yellowstone County Unified Health Command in Yellowstone County is warning people to not use rapid at-home COVID-19 tests because they can give false results. The command states a person could be infected, but the test can produce a false negative. These rapid tests do not identify the presence of COVID-19, just antibodies to a virus. They don't differentiate between COVID-19 and other strains of coronavirus. Health officials say the test should not be used as the sole basis to diagnose or exclude COVID-19 infection. The Health Command also states that residents should get tested at local hospital testing sites. Now, the Unified Health Command also sends a reminder that only a licensed healthcare provider must order a test. Well, overnight, the Senate passed the $2 trillion economic rescue package. It now moves on to the House for a vote on Friday. Montana's 2 U.S. senators both say they will vote for the package. They say the massive bill is desperately needed to help Montana businesses, citizens, governments, and healthcare providers. As Senator Tester, a Democrat, says he likes the fact that the bill now has increased aid for hospitals, state and local governments, and Native American tribes. He's disappointed, however, it still has what he calls a $500 billion slush fund to help selected businesses, but that it now contains more controls on how that money is spent. Senator Daines, a Republican, says the bill is a bold bipartisan stroke to address the public health and economic crisis. He pointed to its increase in unemployment benefits as 15,000 Montanans have filed for benefits in the past 8 days.
Economic crisis and the panic that we see going on right now is not going to end until the pandemic ends, until we feel safe from this horrible virus and disease. The way we get immunity is through these amazing vaccines and these drugs. We're moving as fast as we can. It's an all-government approach working with industry, and we get these to market as quickly as possible.
Our goal right now as an office is to make sure that we're a conduit to make sure that we can direct people in the right direction to get the dollars that they desperately need. And if in fact we can make sure that those businesses can stick around, and that's what this bill is about for 4 months, it's absolutely going to help to hold those folks in a positive situation from a monetary standpoint to be able to come out of this alive.
Now, again, the stimulus bill passed the Senate overnight, and the House is expected to vote on it on Friday. Well, that bill gives small businesses more than $360 billion to keep things running through this pandemic. But it will likely be weeks until any of that money makes it here to Montana. Big Sky Economic Development in Billings is going to offer local businesses bridge loans to stay afloat while they wait for that government check. Now, the head of the Big Sky EDA says they are working on the application process now and hope to have it on their website in the coming days. Also new this afternoon, the Gallatin County Board of Health has ordered all personal care businesses like barbershops to close. Now, this also includes salons, tanning salons, and other personal care businesses. Excluded from this rule for now are physical therapy facilities and essential chiropractic visits. Montana Attorney General Tim Fox and attorneys general across the U.S. are taking on the issue of price gouging. They're calling for online retailers like Amazon to stop items like bottles of hand sanitizer from being sold for hundreds of dollars on their sites. They're also cracking down on companies that may be hoarding and overcharging for critical medical supplies. During this uncertain time, Fox says he's also worried about practices that could take advantage of rural cattle producers.
We're very concerned about the possibility and potential, and we may have even seen some of this, where the meat packers, who there's just a number of them, they're large companies, may have been reducing the price paid to cattle producers in places like Montana, while slightly raising prices that they're selling to the retailers and the supermarkets.
Now, Fox says the attorneys general want to make sure the current crisis does not take away from progress made on consumer protection, whether it is in the field or online. Well, the Department of Homeland Security is extending the new Real ID requirements because of this coronavirus pandemic. That new deadline is October 1st of next year. Now, this change was just announced this week as the state and local partners continue to work with the Trump administration to flatten the curve. The Real ID Act was implemented in 2005 to increase national security after the September 11th terror attacks. Well, now it's time to check in on the weather scene, where Rob Griggs is in for Ed this noon, and it is gorgeous out there today.
It really is. It makes all this sanitizing that we're doing around here at the studio that much nicer, because once I get this all, cleaned up.
You can open some windows.
Exactly. Open some windows and go outside for a little walk, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Let me show you why we're heading outside for a little walk, because it's gorgeous out there right now. Right now in Great Falls, 41 degrees and plenty of sunshine with a gusty southwest wind. That's okay. We can put up with that. A few more clouds out in Butte, but sunshine and 31 degrees. Gusty west winds up to 20 miles an hour. Let's see, over in Helena right now, we got more of that sunshine. Well, those gusty west winds picking up 35 miles an hour. Meanwhile, out where it's supposed to be windy all the time in eastern Montana, Billings is sunny and 41 degrees, and we'll have a complete look at the statewide storm tracker forecast in just a bit. Janelle?
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, Ace hardware stores are staying open for needed products in Billings. Well, one of those locations is paying employees even if they are sick or even just concerned about being at work because of COVID-19. The manager of the Billings Heights store says he wanted to be able to look himself in the mirror and know that he did the right thing.
It's just not a choice at all. So the number one goal is making sure that those who have to stay home, that they're going to be taken care of. They're not going to have to worry about putting food on the table or if they're going to make that mortgage payment, because it's just not tenable to believe that they can do that without any kind of pay or, like I said, come to work and risk their life. It's not okay.
It's always good to hear good news in times like these, especially right now. We have more ahead on your statewide noon news. A group of 7 Montanans is stranded at an airport in Dubai. We'll share that story. Time now is 12:07, and Rob's in next with your statewide weather forecast. Stay.
News area, making sure that we're just doing everything we can to keep COVID-19 at bay. We're going to make it through this rascal. You just watch. Look what's happening here as we're heading in toward the weekend. We're going to get some outdoor walking weather, where you get out on some of those bike paths and hike paths. Just stay 6 feet apart from folks. You want to invite some friends along with you? Great. Just don't travel together. Show up and wave and smile and say hi. And the old wave and smile and say hi thing at the grocery store just might save somebody's day. So let's step it up a little bit, shall we? No, you want to hear about the weather now, right? Okay, all right. Off the soapbox, here we go. We don't have any big storms happening right now, so I had a little bit of a gap to talk about the rest of this stuff. These snow flurries that we've seen from western Montana all the way up toward northeast Montana dissipating even as we speak. We do have one advisory right now that we want to show you. It's been posted for us. It's a COVID-19 info advisory for Park County down here in northwestern Wyoming. Now, if you're in Park County, Wyoming, and you want information about COVID-19, but you don't have a smartphone or a computer, no problem. Just pick up the phone and dial 211. 211 will get you the most recent information so that you can stay up to pace with everything that's going on. And in this day and time, you definitely want to stay on top of all that, all right? Hey, look at the temperatures right now. We're steadily graduating into the 30s and low 40s. We got 41, a little breezy up there at Havre right now. Kalispell 41, Missoula 39. Butte still a little bit below freezing at 31. We've got Jordan out here in eastern Montana at 40, Glendive at 37. And our friends in Helena, something wrong with the old thermometer. I think somebody needs to go beep just tap it there, see if that'll come back online for us. Quite a bit warmer though right now from northern Montana all the way out here toward the east by a good 13 degrees over there in the corner at Williston, North Dakota, 6 degrees warmer at Cut Bank. Otherwise, we're breaking even pretty much everywhere else from where we were this time yesterday. One of the things that's on the map that we'll be keeping an eye on is the wind. Gusty winds from Cut Bank up to 40 miles an hour out toward Havre. We've also got some gusty winds in Great Falls and Helena down to Lewistown, Livingston, actually over Lewistown, then down to Livingston. So wind will be a feature for central and western Montana. Notice though, not so much out here in eastern Montana, although Sheridan's picking up a 21-mile-an-hour wind gust over there in Sheridan, Wyoming. Stepping out of the way to show you that the snow showers in Wyoming are dissipating. The wind is going to stay with us through the forecast period for selected locations in central and western Montana. Warmer, drier weather graduating in, headed this direction, and for most locations we'll see a bit of a warming trend. Other places like up here in extreme northwestern Montana and right along the border of Montana and Wyoming, we might be breaking even, might even drop a degree or two with some showers moving in, but nothing too traumatic for us, I don't think. Today's forecast, the 30s and the 40s with some wind scattered around out there. Nice day all the way around. Tonight, still a little bit windy in these usual places, but we'll have variable cloudiness. Really not expecting any precipitation. Temperatures from the teens into the 20s. And then the forecast for Friday, very nice day. Again, we're going to have some occasionally gusty winds, but pretty much everyone will pick up at least a degree or two. Here's a quick look at your 3-day forecast for Kalispell, Great Falls, Missoula, and Helena. You notice that wind is going to be a feature for Helena here for the next several days, but Helena will see 51 degrees on Saturday, and Great Falls will see 53. Our 3-day forecast for Butte, Glendive, Bozeman, and Billings, again, a steady, sunny, warming trend. Janelle?
All right, thanks so much, Rob, and thanks for the sun. Well, all around the world, people are trying to get back home during this coronavirus pandemic. That includes a group of 7 Montanans stranded at an airport in Dubai. MTN's Cody Boyer has the story.
For Eli Herman and his 6 friends, it was a trip to the Philippines and beyond before the coronavirus pandemic hit the United States. So for him, he never imagined what would happen just trying to get home.
Employees have locked themselves in the room back there, and it's just us sitting out here.
When I caught up with Elias Herman and his group of friends, they were hunkered down at the Dubai International Airport.
We were actually on an island called Sikior. A fella walked by and told us that the island had been closing down. Sure enough, the last ferry out was at 5 p.m.
That was the beginning.
After numerous flights that had been canceled, we ended up staying an extra 7 days.
Then a stroke of luck at a cost.
We had to spend upwards of $3,000 on a new flight.
It was short-lived. Herman says only minutes after they arrived, Dubai airport staff told them to follow them and give them their passports.
It's kind of nerve-wracking. We felt like without our passports, there's no real claim to us being U.S. citizens, and that's something that we couldn't lose.
Through his phone, Herman showed me a scene out of a nightmare.
People leaning up against the walls, taking out luggage that they have to make bedding.
Out of nearly 300 people stranded, Herman says about 10 of them are Americans, including children. Yet, he says it's no one's fault.
I don't blame them. It's not surprising in the sense that the entire time we've been trying to book a flight out, things have been flip-flopping within the hour.
Herman holds onto his group of friends and to hope that he says fits the new norm.
I hope no one is at the airport waiting for us. I hope that we get home to nobody. I hope that everyone's just at home, being safe.
And another hope, that someone back home can help.
It has to be a collective effort that we stop the spread of this disease.
In Bozeman, Cody Boyer, MTN News.
Thanks, Cody. Russell Nimitz in next with your latest ag news. Stay with us.
Now, here's your Farm and Ranch report from the Montana Ag Network.
Well, hi, everybody. It's time for your Farm and Ranch news. Well, this week, the U.S. Senate demonstrated bipartisan backing for the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security, or CARES Act, which will provide some $2 trillion in various programs to address the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, under the bill, USDA would have nearly $49 billion to respond to the coronavirus, along with added funding for the Food and Drug Administration. Among the aid to specific industries, it includes a $14 billion boost in funding authority for USDA's Commodity Credit Corporation that would allow USDA to provide more direct aid to producers. The legislation also includes a $9.5 billion assistance program that would directly aid U.S. livestock producers. Now, even though our agricultural markets have rebounded this week, both livestock and grain markets have lost significant value for producers since mid-January, when the world first began seeing the spread of COVID-19. Well, stay with us. We'll have more egg news headed your way right after this. Egg retailers say they're on relatively firm footing as they prepare for spring following a crazy 2019 growing season marked by adverse weather, flooding, and of course delayed harvest. Now, existing inventories of seed, agrochemicals, and fertilizer should meet customer needs during this year's planting season, which, by the way, is expected to see an expansion in planted corn and soybean acres. A new report from CoBank's Knowledge Exchange Division indicates that demand for crop protection products and spraying, fertilizer, and other customized application services will likely be robust, given current field conditions and the larger than expected increase in acres. Well, the National Farmers Union says a proposed rule from the USDA will undermine the Packers and Stockyards Act. Those were among the comments that new National Farmers Union President Rob LaRue submitted recently to the USDA. The NFU says the rule in question, which outlines criteria for determining if a company has shown undue or unreasonable preferences or advantages for one producer over another, does little to achieve either goal. Instead, the rule will provide few, if any, protections to farmers while shielding corporations from legal challenges to abusive and anti-competitive type actions. And finally, the National Wheat Foundation is now accepting grower enrollment for this year's National Wheat Yield Contest. The contest is divided into two primary competition categories, winter wheat and spring wheat. And of course, from there, it's divided into two subcategories, dryland and irrigated. Now, the deadline for winter wheat entries is May 15th, with the early registration deadline, they say, coming up fast. That's going to be April 1st. And the spring wheat entry deadline is August the 1st, with an early registration deadline there of June 15th. To learn more about the National Wheat Yield Contest, you can visit the National Wheat Foundation's website, which is wheatfoundation.org. Well, that's going to do it from the Egg Desk. Have a great day.